Hello, my name is Gary, and I was raised in the western United States, so I'm a native English speaker. I hope that you will enjoy this YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us.
The 38 Letters from J D Rockefeller to His Son by J D Rockefeller, 1839 to 1937. The 22nd letter. Use strength to make opponents fear. February 27, 1901. Dear John, tonight I met with Mr. Henry Frick, the conciliator, and I said to him, as my son told Mr. Morgan, I am in no hurry to sell the mine, but as you might guess, I never prevent the business to become profitable. However, I firmly oppose buyers being condescending and setting prices to exclude us, and I would rather fight to the end than do such a business. I asked Mr. Frick to tell Mr. Morgan he was wrong. John, it seems like you have to keep dealing with Mr. Morgan, even though you hate him. So I'd like to give you some advice and let that mighty guy know what the consequences of doing his own way are. Son, many people make the same mistake. They don't know what they are doing. In fact, no matter what industry you're engaged in, such as oil operations, real estate, steel, business, or being a president or an employee, you're all participating in an industry that deals with people. Furthermore, in negotiations, it's not the business that is at war with you, but the people. Therefore, truly knowing yourself and your opponent is the premise to ensure that you will win a big victory in the final battle. You need to know that preparation is part of the psychology of the game, and you have to know yourself and your opponent. If you want to gain a substantial advantage, you must know, first, what is the market situation and what is the economic situation? Second, what are your strengths and weaknesses, and what capital do you have? Third, what are the opponent's resources? What is the opponent's asset status, and what are the opponent's strengths and weaknesses? In any competition, one of the most important factors in planning a grand strategy is knowing your opponent's strengths. Fourth, your goals and attitudes. The motto of Apollo, the sun god, is just a short sentence. Know yourself. You need to know what you are doing, what your goals are, and how determined you are to achieve them. Think of yourself as a winner. Don't doubt yourself. John, you have to remember my words. The more you think you can do it, the better you will become, and a positive attitude will create success. Fifth, the opponent's goal and attitudes. Try to judge the opponent's goals as much as possible, and equally important, try to penetrate the opponent's heart to understand his thoughts and feelings. There is no doubt that predicting and knowing your opponent is the most difficult thing to exploit, but you must strive for it. Most of those great military generals have a habit of trying their best to understand their opponent's personalities and habits to judge the choices and actions that their opponents may make. In all competitive activities, it is always useful to understand your opponents and competitors because you can then predict the movements of your opponents. Proactive anticipatory responses are almost always more effective and more powerful than passive responses, as the saying goes. Prevention is better than cure. In some cases, your competitors may be people you know well, so you should take advantage of this. If you know that he is a very cautious person, maybe you should better be more careful too. If you think he is always impulsive, maybe this is your hint to be aggressive, or you'll be cornered by him. However, you don't have to be familiar with your opponents to understand them. As long as you can see things clearly, you can find a lot of valuable things at the negotiating table. A good negotiator should be able to observe everything. You don't even have to wait until you've taken the first step to start getting to know your opponents. Our words may reveal or conceal our hearts, but our choices almost always reveal our inner secret ideas. You have to understand what you are talking about in negotiations. If you are really in control, you will be able to control what you say to your advantage. Likewise, you have to be alert at all times to receive messages from your opponent, so you can maintain a clear advantage over time, and if you don't, you risk losing another opportunity. You need to know that losing one competitive negotiation means your chances of winning the next negotiation will be lower. The secret to trading is knowing what you can't trade and what you can trade. Mr. Morgan saw us as a scum in the corner to be swept out, but we had to stay on the floor. At that same time, we wanted him to give us a good price. That was not a negotiation. You also need to know that when you are in business, you must not try to make all the money for yourself, leaving only a little for others to earn. John, you know we're willing to do this deal because we think it's good for us. That's obvious. However, don't get caught up in this obvious and narrow view. There are too many smart people who think that the purpose of trading is to buy things at the lowest price. This time, the price given by Morgan was more than $1 million lower than the actual value. If he wanted to do this deal, it means he would lose his chance to dominate the U.S. steel industry. The essence of trading is to exchange value, to exchange what someone else wants for what you want. The best way to close a good deal is to emphasize its value. A lot of people make the mistake of overvaluing the price by saying, "This is really cheap, and I can't find a price that low anymore." Yes, no one wants to pay a high price, but it's beyond the lowest price. People prefer the highest value. John, in your negotiations with Mr. Morgan, when it comes to money, you must never mention the amount of money first, but offer him the benefits he gets and emphasize what he can buy from you. I am convinced that by putting in the effort, everyone has the potential to reshape the world and achieve a new and improved state. Good luck. Love, your father.